Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 5, Chapter 18, Text 22. We have been hearing the prayers by Lakshmi Devi that she's been offering to the Lord. Matprapyajesha sura suradayas
मत्प्राप्ते अज ईश सुरसूर आदयः
tapyanta ugram tapa indriya
उग्रं तप इन्द्रिये
rite bhavat para yanan namam
ऋते भवत्पादपरायणां नमामि
vindanti aham swadridaya yatochita
विन्दन्ति अहं त्वत्हृदयायतोचितः
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O Supreme Unconquerable Lord, when they become absorbed in thoughts of material enjoyment, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as well as other demigods and demons, undergo severe penances and austerities to receive my benedictions. But I do not favor anyone, however great he may be, unless he is always engaged in the service of your lotus feet. Because I always keep you within my heart, I cannot favor anyone but a devotee. In this verse, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, clearly states that she does not bestow her favor on any materialistic person. Although sometimes a materialist may become very opulent in the eyes of another materialist, such opulence is bestowed upon him by the goddess Durga Devi, a material expansion of the goddess of fortune, not by Lakshmi Devi herself. Those who desire material wealth worship Durga Devi with the following mantra: Dhanam Dehi Rupam, Dehi Rupvati Bharyam Dehi. O worshipable Mother Durga Devi, please give me wealth, strength, fame, a good wife, and so on. By pleasing Goddess Durga, one can obtain such benefits. But since they are temporary, they result only in Maya Sukha, illusory happiness. As stated by Prahlad Maharaj, Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahato Vimudhan. Those who work very hard for material benefits are Vimudhas, foolish rascals, because such happiness will not endure. On the other hand, devotees like Prahlad and Dhruv Maharaj achieved extraordinary material opulences, but such opulences were not Maya Sukha. When a devotee acquires unparalleled opulences, they are the direct gifts of the goddess of fortune who resides in the heart of Narayana. So we are understanding here Lakshmi Devi saying she offers her benedictions to the devotee. So Prabhupada is explaining then there are so many who are not devotees, but they are very opulent in the material world. So they are receiving their benefits from Durga Devi. Durga Devi is the goddess of this material world, and she is an expansion of Lakshmi Devi, of Radharani. So, and the opulences that the devotees are receiving, that they are receiving from Lakshmi Devi herself. So, Lakshmi Devi is pleased to offer her benediction to the devotees. The material opulences a person obtains by offering prayers to the goddess Durga are temporary, as described in Bhagavad Gita 7:23. Antavatu phalam tesham tad bhavati alpamedhasa. Men of meager intelligence desire temporary happiness. We have actually seen that one of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted to enjoy the property of his spiritual master, and the spiritual master, being merciful toward him, gave him the temporary property, but not the power to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. That special mercy of the power to preach is given to a devotee who does not want anything material from his spiritual master, but wants only to serve him. So Prabhupada is sharing his personal experience that he had a god brother who wanted the property from his spiritual master. His spiritual master, yeah, gave him, take the property, but he was not able to preach Krishna consciousness as Lord Chaitanya wanted. The story of the demon Ravan illustrates this point. Although Ravan tried to abduct the goddess of fortune, Sita Devi, from the custody of Lord Ramchandra, he could not possibly do so. The Sita Devi he forcibly took with him was not the original Sita Devi, but an expansion of Maya or Durga Devi. As a result, instead of winning the favor of the real goddess of fortune, Ravan and his whole family were vanquished by the power of Durga Devi, Shrishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha. So Lord Chaitanya explains this. There was one Brahman and he was great devotee of Lord Ramachandra and Sita, and he was not eating food one day. He cooked for Lord Chaitanya, but he was not eating himself. Lord Chaitanya told him, what happened? Why aren't you eating? It's already it's so late, He said, no, I'm very sad. Oh, why you're sad? Oh, Ravan, how could he take away Sita? How could he even touch her? So Lord Chaitanya explains that he does not take the real Sita Devi. She was there with Agni. And this was the Maya Sita that Ravan could kidnap, because the original Sita, Ravan does not have the ability to even touch her. So it was the Maya Sita taken. Satvam mamapi achyuta shirshnivanditam
Sotvam mamapi achyuktashirshan vanditam
Parambujam yad padadhai satvatam.
Karam ambujam yatvat adhi satvatam
Vibharshimam lakshmavarin yamai
Vibharshimam lakshmuvarenyamaya
kai ka ishvarasye hitam hitam vibhur iti.
Kah Ishwarasya
Ishwarasyehitam uhitum
vibhu
vibhur
iti.
iti.
O infallible one, your lotus palm is the source of all benediction. Therefore, your pure devotees worship it, and you very mercifully place your hand on their heads. I wish that you may also place your hand on my head, for although you already bear my insignia of golden streaks on your chest, I regard this honor as merely a kind of false prestige for me. You show your real mercy to your devotees, not to me. Of course, you are the supreme absolute controller, and no one can understand your motives. In many places, the Shastras describe the Supreme Personality of Godhead as being more inclined toward his devotees than toward his wife, who always remains on his chest. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 14, Text 15, it is stated, Na tatha me priyatatma atma yoni na shankara na cha sankarshano na shri naiva atma cha yatha bhavan. Here Krishna plainly says that his devotees are more dear to him than Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Sankarshan, the original cause of creation, the goddess of fortune, or even his own self. Elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:9-20, Sukadev Goswami says, Nemam virincho na bhavo na shrir api anga samshraya prasadam le gopi yattat prap vimuktidan. The Supreme Lord who can award liberation to anyone, showed more mercy toward the gopis than to Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, or even the goddess of fortune, who is his own wife and is associated with his body. Actually, Lakshmi Devi, she wanted to enter the rasa dance. So she was asked to do penances in Vrindavan. And she did the penances also. But she still couldn't enter the rasa dance. Why? Because she didn't want to accept subservience to the gopis. Because she's the goddess of fortune, after all. She enjoys great power, great opulence. Everyone is bowing down to her. So she was not able to accept that she has to accept the gopis as superior, that she has to serve the gopis. So I also heard that she's still doing austerities in Vrindavan. And some say, well, she was not able to enter the rasa dance. So similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam 10:47-60 also states, Nayam Shriyonga U Nitanta Rate Prasada Swaryoshitam Lena Ganda Rucham Kuto Anya Rasotsavesya Bhuj Danda Grihita Kantha Labdha Shisham Ya Yugadat Prajasundarinam. The gopis received benedictions from the Lord that neither Lakshmi Devi nor the most beautiful dancers in the heavenly planets could attain. In the rasa dance, the Lord showed his favor to the most fortunate gopis by placing his arms on their shoulders and dancing with each of them individually. No one can compare with the gopis who receive the causeless mercy of the Lord. So they are the super excellent devotees of the Lord. Even when Lord Chaitanya was asking Ramananda Rai, who is the best devotees, he said the gopis. And amongst the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the best because she knows how to serve Krishna the best. In the Caitaniya Caritamita, it is said that no one can receive the real favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead without following in the footsteps of the gopis. Even the goddess of fortune could not receive the same favor as the gopis, although she underwent severe austerities and penances for many years. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discusses this point with Venkat Bhatt in Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 9.111 to 131. The Lord inquired from Venkat Bhatt, Your worshipable goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, always remains on the chest of Narayan, and she is certainly the most chaste woman in creation. However, my Lord is Lord Sri Krishna, a cowherd boy, engaged in tending cows. Why is that Lakshmi, being such a chaste wife, wants to associate with my Lord? Just to associate with Krishna, Lakshmi abandoned all transcendental happiness in Vaikuntha and for a long time accepted vows and the regulative principles and performed unlimited austerities. Venkat Bhatt replied, Lord Krishna and Lord Narayan are one and the same. But the pastimes of Krishna are more relishable due to their sportive nature. They're very pleasing for Krishna's Shaktis. Since Krishna and Narayan are both the same personality, Lakshmi's association with Krishna did not break her vow of chastity. Rather, it was in great fun that the goddess of fortune wanted to associate with Lord Krishna. The goddess of fortune considered that her vow of chastity would not be damaged by her relationship with Krishna. Rather, by associating with Krishna, she could enjoy the benefit of the rasa dance. If she wanted to enjoy herself with Krishna, what fault is there? Why are you joking so about this? So Lord Chaitanya is asking Venkat Bhatt, why is Lakshmi Devi, she is wife of Lord Narayan, why she wants to dance with Krishna in the rasa dance. She's supposed to be a chaste wife, and she underwent so much austerities, and still she was not able to. So then Venkat Bhatt tells him, well, because Krishna and Narayan, there's no difference. Krishna is the original Narayan. So he's like, there's no fault that Lakshmi Devi wants to associate with Krishna, because Krishna's pastimes are sweeter. There is more variety, Like Lakshmi and Narayan, we see their photos. Lakshmi Devi is always pressing his feet, serving him. You don't see them dancing or, joking and playing around. But we see Krishna doing that with the gopis. So Lakshmi Devi also wanted to enjoy that ras. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, I know that there is no fault in the goddess of fortune, but still she could not enter into the rasa dance. We hear this from revealed scriptures. The authorities of Vedic knowledge met Lord Ramachandra in Dandakaranya, and by their penances and austerities, they were allowed to enter into the rasa dance. But can you tell me why the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, could not get that opportunity? So the scriptures state that, when Lord Ramachandra, when he was in the forest, the sages were attracted to him in conjugal ras. So they were doing austerities. And so Lord Ramachandra told them, okay, well, when I come as Krishna, you can enjoy with me. So these sages, so many of the gopis are the sages of the Dandakaranya who did so much austerities and then they became gopis. So some of the gopis are the sages from Dandakaranya, some gopis are the Vedas personified. Because the essence of the Vedas personified. They also wanted to dance with Krishna. So now Lord Chaitanya is saying, oh, even the sages could become gopis, why Lakshmi Devi could not? To this, Venkat Bhatt replied, I cannot enter into the mystery of this incident. I'm an ordinary living being. My intelligence is limited and I'm always disturbed. How can I understand the pastimes of the Supreme Lord? They are deeper than millions of oceans. Lord Chaitanya replied, Lord Krishna has a specific characteristic. He attracts everyone's heart by the mellow of his personal conjugal love. By following in the footsteps of the inhabitants of the planet known as Brajlok or Golok Vrindavan, one can attain the shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. However, the inhabitants of that planet do not know that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unaware that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, the residents of Vrindavan, like Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Devi, and the gopis, treat Krishna as their beloved son or lover. Mother Yashoda accepts him as her son and sometimes binds him to a grinding mortar. Krishna's cowherd boyfriends think he's an ordinary boy and get up on his shoulders. In Golok Vrindavan, no one has any desire other than to love Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya is explaining that Lord Krishna, he allows his personal pastimes to one who follows in the footsteps of the Brajvasis. Following in the footsteps of the Brajvasis. The Brajvasis, they love Krishna. They don't think of him as God. They love him as their Krishna. Just as we, Maya, she covers our knowledge of Krishna that he's God. Same, Maya, she covers the Brajvasis' knowledge that he's God. The difference is we are covered by Mahamaya because we want to forget Krishna in that way. And the Brajvasis, they love Krishna so much that Yoga Maya covers their knowledge that he's God so that they can really relish him and love him to their heart's content so that there is no that, oh my God, he's God, how can I do that? The friends don't think, oh, how can I climb on his shoulders? It's an offense to put your feet on the Lord, So the friends, they don't think that because Yoga Maya arranges it so that they can actually really relish the loving pastimes. It's not a stage that can be imitated by anyone. It's like pure love. The conclusion is that one cannot associate with Krishna unless he has fully received the favor of the inhabitants of Rajbhumi. Therefore, if one wants to be delivered by Krishna directly, he must take to the service of the residents of Vrindavan, who are unalloyed devotees of the Lord. So, if anyone wants personal association with Krishna, then one has to follow the footsteps of Brajvasis. That's how Krishna has made it. That's how he is. That serving the Brajvasis. There, as Lord Chaitanya, when he was asking Ramananda Rai, who are the highest devotees, and then he comes to the Brajvasis, then to the Gopis, and Srimati Radharani being the best. Ramyake cha bhagavata priyatamam matsyam avatar rupam.
Ramyake cha bhagavatam priyatamam vatsayam avatarupam.
Tad varsha purushasya manoprak pradarshitam sa idanim api.
Tat varsha
Varsha
purushasya
Purushasya Mano
pradarshitam sah idanim
Idanim Api
Mahata bhakti yoge naradhyati yatidam choda harate.
Mahata
Mahata
bhakti
Bhakti
yogena
Yogi Aradhari
aradhayati idam cha udharati.
Udarhariti.
Sukadev Goswami continued in Ramyak Varsh, where Vyavasta Manu rules. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as Lord Matsya at the end of the last era, the Chakshusha Manvanta. Vyavasta Manu now worships Lord Matsya in pure devotional service and chants the following mantra. So Vyavasta Manu is the son of Vivaswan. So then he is there in Ramyak Varsh and he's praying to Lord Matsya, the fish incarnation of the Lord. And he's chanting the following mantra. So I'll say the mantra and then you repeat it. Om Namo Bhagavate Mukhyat Maya Nama Satvaya Prana Yojase Sahase Balaya Mahamats Yaya Nama Iti.
Om Namo Bhagavate Mukhyatmaya Namah Satvaya Pranaya Ojase Sahase Valaya Mahamatsaya Namo.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is pure transcendence. He is the origin of all life, bodily strength, mental power, and sensory ability. Known as Matsya Avatar, the gigantic fish incarnation, he appears first among all the incarnations. Again, I offer my obeisances unto him. Jayadev Goswami sings, Pralayo Payoti Jale Dhritavan Asivedam Vihita Mahitra Charitram Akedam Keshavadhirtamina Sharira Jai Jagadisha Hari. Soon after the cosmic creation, the entire universe was inundated with water. At that time, Lord Krishna, Keshav, incarnated as a gigantic fish to protect the Vedas. Therefore, Manu addresses Lord Matsya as Mukhyatam, the first incarnation to appear. Fish are generally considered a mixture of the modes of ignorance and passion. But we must understand that every incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is completely transcendental. So it's not that Krishna is coming in the body of a fish, in the form of a fish, that this form of his is material. No, it's transcendental. No matter what form Krishna takes, they're all transcendental. There's never any deterioration of the Supreme Lord's original transcendental quality. Therefore, the word Satvaya is used here meaning pure goodness on the transcendental platform. There are many incarnations of the Supreme Lord. Varaha Murti, the boar form, Kurma Murti, the tortoise form, Hayagreva Murti, the form of a horse, and so on. Yet we should never think of any of them material. They are always situated on the platform of Shuddha Sattva, pure transcendence. That's why we worship them, no? The Lord's form in Kurma as a tortoise, the Lord's form as Varaha or Hayagrev. These are all transcendental forms of the Lord, not material. Satchit Ananda. Antar Bahishcha Khila Lokapalakir.
Antas Bahircha Akhilokapalake
Adrishta Rupo Vicharasi Urusvanaha.
Adrishta Rupo Vicharasi Urusvanaha
Sa Ishwarastvam Ya Idam Vasen Nayan.
Sa Ishwarastam Idam Vashe Anyat
Namna Yatadaru Mayimna Rastriyam.
Namna Yathadarum Nar Istriyam.
My dear Lord, just as a puppeteer controls his dancing dolls and a husband controls his wife, your Lordship controls all the living entities in the universe, such as the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. Although you are in everyone's heart as the supreme witness and commander, and are outside everyone as well, the so-called leaders of societies, communities, and countries cannot realize you. Only those who hear the vibration of the Vedic mantras can appreciate you. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Antarvahi, present within and without everything. One must overcome the delusion caused by the Lord's external energy and realize his presence both externally and internally. Antarvahi, within and without. Krishna is in our hearts, and yet he's in the atom of every atom of the universe. In Srimad, and yet he is personally there in Golok Vrindavan. He's always there, he never leaves. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.19, Srimati Kunti Devi has explained that Krishna appears in this world nato natya dharo yatha, exactly like an actor dressed as a player. So it doesn't mean that Krishna is not God when he comes and performs and shows us his pastimes. He's still God. In Bhagavad Gita 1861, Krishna says, Ishvara Sama Bhutanam Hrideshe Arjuna Tishtati. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna. The Lord is situated within everyone's heart and outside as well. Within the heart, He's the Super Soul, the incarnation who acts as the advisor and witness. Yet, although God is residing within their hearts, foolish people say, I cannot see God, please show him to me. So God is everywhere, and we say, oh, I want to see God. If I don't see, how can I believe he exists? Well, because our senses are material right now. So how will we be able to see spiritual? You know, just like we cannot see air, but it exists, no? We cannot see our mind, but it exists. So we can't see our intelligence, but it exists. So God exists. Everyone is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, exactly like dancing dolls controlled by a puppeteer, or a woman controlled by her husband. A woman is compared to a doll, the Arumai, because she has no independence. She should always be controlled by a man. Still, due to false prestige, a class of women wants to remain independent. What to speak of women? All living entities are Prakriti, female, and therefore dependent on the Supreme Lord, as Krishna himself explains in Bhagavad Gita. Apareyam itasva anyam prakritim vidime param. So whether we are in male body or female body, we are all belong to Krishna. We are actually all female, all Prakriti. We are all being controlled. Krishna is the one who is controlling each and every one of us. We are all being maintained. Krishna is the only maintainer. The living entity is never independent. Under all circumstances, he is dependent on the mercy of the Lord. The Lord creates the social divisions of human society, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, and Shudras, and ordains that they follow rules and regulations suited to their particular position. So the Varna Sharma Dharma is also created by God, created by Krishna. He himself says in Bhagavad Gita 4, chapter 4, this Varna Sharma Chaturvanyam is made by him based on guna and karma, guna karma vibhagasa. In this way, all members of society remain always under the Supreme Lord's control. Still, some people foolishly deny the existence of God. So just like we stay in any country, we stay in Taiwan, we follow the rules of that country. Yes, we are being controlled. Any country, we follow the rules. Similarly, we are following the rules of God. Self-realization means to understand one's subordinate position in relation to Krishna. When one is thus enlightened, he surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is liberated from the clutches of the material energy. So self-realization to understand that we are part and parcel of God. Jivera Swarupai Krishna Nityadas. Understanding that we are eternal servant of God. We are part and parcel of God. And when we get this realization, then one completely surrenders to God. Krishna is saying, surrender to me. Why is he saying surrender to me? Because there is a difference between Krishna's position and our position. That's the reason he's saying surrender to me. We are not God. We are subordinate to God. And God is trying to make us understand this point. That's the reason he spoke the Bhagavad Gita. He's saying, surrender to me. You're subordinate to me, so you surrender. And this is how we can act. That is really self-realization, liberation. In other words, unless one surrenders to the lotus feet of the Lord, the material energy in its many varieties will continue to control him. So we are under God's control. And when we deny that, we are controlled by Maya. So if we actually want to get out of the control of Maya, we have to come to take shelter of Krishna, shelter of God. No one in the material world can deny that he's under control. Yeah, nobody can say I'm not under control. Birth, death, old age, disease, everyone goes through. The Supreme Lord Narayan, who is beyond this material existence, controls everyone. The following Vedic mantra confirms this point. Eko Avai Narayana Asit. Foolish persons think Narayana to be on the platform of ordinary material existence. So Narayan, each of us is being controlled by Narayan. We are being maintained by Narayan. There is a difference between Narayan and the spirit soul. Because they do not realize the natural constitutional position of the living entity, they concoct names like Daridra Narayan, Swami Narayan, or Mithya Narayan. However, Narayan is actually the supreme controller of everyone. This understanding is self-realization. So if we can just understand that Narayan is God, he is the supreme controller, that there is a difference between the living soul, the individual soul, and Narayan, that is self-realization. What we are thinking that it's the same, we are on the same platform as Narayan, that I am Narayan, but no, there is a difference. And that's what all the Shastras, all the Veda are trying to tell us. All the scriptures are trying to tell us this point. Vedascha sarver aham eva vedya, Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, that by all the Vedas I am to be known. Yam lokapala kilamatsara jvara
Yam
Lokapala Kilamatsara Jwara
Hitva yatanto piprathak samte samet vyacha.
Hitva Yatanto Api Nitya
Atum nashekhur vipadash chatushpada.
Patum
Sheku Dvipad Chatupada
Sarish Ramsthanu Yada Radrishyate.
Sharish
Shamthanu
Sanu Yat Atra
Yatadrishyate.
My Lord, from the great leaders of the universe, such as Lord Brahma and other demigods, down to the political leaders of this world, all are envious of your authority. Without your help, however, they could neither separately nor concertedly maintain the innumerable living entities within the universe. You are actually the only maintainer of all human beings, of animals like cows and asses, and of plants, reptiles, birds, mountains, and whatever else is visible within this material world. So these are the prayers by Vaivasta Manu. It is fashionable for materialistic persons to compete with the power of God. When so-called scientists try to manufacture living entities in their laboratories, their only purpose is to defy the talent and ability of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called illusion. It exists even in the higher planetary systems, where great demigods like Brahma, like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and others reside. In this world, everyone is puffed up with the false prestige, despite the failure of all his endeavors. So even we are under illusion, thinking we are God, and even the higher beings, they are also under the same illusion. We are all trying to compete with God, or become God, or envious of Him. Whereas actually, He's maintaining us, and we don't want to accept it, that we are being maintained by Him. When so-called philanthropists who supposedly want to help the poor are approached by members of the Krishna consciousness movement, they say, "You are simply wasting your time while I am feeding vast masses of starving people." Unfortunately, their meager efforts, either singly or together, do not solve anyone's problems. Sometimes so-called swamis are very eager to feed poor people, thinking them to be Daridra Narayan, the Lord's incarnations as beggars. They prefer to serve the manufactured Daridra Narayan than the original Supreme Narayan, they say. Don't encourage service to Lord Narayan. It is better to serve the starving people of the world. Unfortunately, such materialists, either singly or combined, in the form of the United Nations, cannot fulfill their plans. The truth is that the many millions of human beings, animals, birds, and trees, indeed, all living entities are maintained solely by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kaman. One person, the Supreme Lord, is supplying the necessities of life for all other living entities. To challenge the authority of Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the business of asuras, demons, yet sometimes asuras or devotees are also bewildered by the illusory energy and falsely claim to be the maintainer of the entire universe. So not only the non-devotees, even the devotees become sometimes illusion, thinking that I am independent, I am the creator, I am maintaining, I am independent, or I am God. Such incidents are described in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Sukadev Goswami tells how Lord Brahma and King Indra became puffed up and were eventually chastised by Krishna. So we are all thinking that we can compete with God or become better than Him. This is what Vyavastha Manu is saying. And Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, that the living entities in the material world are born due to the delusion and hate, our envy of God and our desire to become God. Bhavan Yuganta Nava Urmi Malini
भवान् युगन्त अर्णवे उर्मिमालिनी
Shonim Mimam Osh Tadi Virudham Nityam
Shonim
क्षिणिम् इमाम् औषधि विरुधामनिधिम्
Maya Sahoru Kramate Ja Ojasa
मया
Yaso
क्रमते अज ओजसा
Tasmai Jagat Pranaganatmani Nama Iti.
तस्मै जगत्
Jagat Prana
प्राणगणात्मने नमः
Mani
इति।
Namati.
O Almighty Lord, at the end of the millennium, this planet Earth, which is the source of all kinds of herbs, drugs, and trees, was inundated by water and drowned beneath the devastating waves. At that time, you protected me along with the earth and roamed the sea with great speed. O unborn one, you are the actual maintainer of the entire universal creation, and therefore you are the cause of all living entities. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Envious persons cannot appreciate how wonderfully the Lord creates, maintains, and annihilates the universe. But devotees of the Lord can understand this perfectly well. Devotees can see how the Lord is acting behind the wonderful workings of the material nature. So a devotee can understand that the real position of God. When we are filled with envy, we are not able to understand that how wonderful, how powerful is God, that He can maintain, He can create, He can annihilate. In Bhagavad Gita 9.10, the Lord says, Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam ketu nanina kaunteya jagat viparivartate. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, this material nature, which is so wonderful, he's saying is working under my direction, my supervision. I'm looking at it. Mayadhyakshena. I'm supervising it. And under my direction, all this creation and annihilation is happening. All the wonderful transformations of nature are happening under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Envious persons cannot see this, but a devotee, even though very humble and even if uneducated, knows that behind all the activities of nature is the supreme hand of the Supreme Being. So a devotee can understand that God is the creator. Like, for example, anything in our experience we see is created, no? Who created our laptop? We'll say, oh, this company, or who created our mobile? We'll say this company. So if ordinary things like laptop, mobiles have creator, what to speak of this material world? Who created the material world? The sun, the moon, the stars, the sky, who created the air, the fire. So it's God's creation. God has created it. Hiranmayepi Bhagavan Nivasti Kurma Tanubhip Pranastasya
हिरण्यमय अपि भगवान्
भगवान्
निवसति
निवसति कुर्म तनुं
वि-
प्रधानस्तस्य
विभाषणे तस्य
तत्प्रियतमां तनुम् आर्यमां सह वर्षपुरुषे पितृ
तत्प्रियतमां
तत्प्रियतां
तनुपर्यमां सह वर्षपुरुषे पित्र
गणाधिपतिरुपधावति मन्त्रम् इमं चानुजपते
गण अधिपति उपधावति
गणाधिपतिरुपधावति
मन्त्रम् इमं
मन्त्रम् इमं चानुजपति.
Sukadev Goswami continued in Hiranmaya verse. The Supreme Lord Vishnu lives in the form of a tortoise, Kurma Sharir. This most dear and beautiful form is always worshipped there in devotional service by Aryama, the chief resident of Hiranmaya verse. Along with the other inhabitants of that land, they chant the following hymns. The word Priyatam, dearmost, is very significant in this verse. Each devotee regards a particular form of the Lord as most dear. Because of an atheistic mentality, some people think that the tortoise, boar, and fish incarnations of the Lord are not very beautiful. They do not know that any form of the Lord is always the fully opulent personality of Godhead. Since one of his opulences is infinite beauty, all the Lord's incarnations are very beautiful and are appreciated as such by devotees. So, we may think, oh, tortoise looking like that, grayish or wrinklish, or boar, hairy, and looking dirty. But no, God's form is not like that. They're all very beautiful. All very, very beautiful forms. Non-devotees, however, think that Lord Krishna's incarnations are ordinary material creatures, and therefore they distinguish between the beautiful and the not beautiful. A certain form of the Lord is worshipped by a particular devotee because he loves to see that form of the Lord. Krishna reciprocates with the devotee as the devotee wants to see him. Like Bhishma Dev, he wanted to see Krishna in this form, Parthasarthi. Arjuna cannot see Krishna as Parthasarthi, but Bhishma Dev is looking at Krishna as Parthasarthi, because Bhishma has this particular relationship with Krishna. And he likes to see Krishna's form in this because he has this virya ras with him. And he's throwing arrows at Krishna, and Krishna is feeling these arrows as flowers from his lover. So loving, it's very deep, deep love between the Lord and his devotees, as stated in Brahma Samhita 5:33, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha. The very beautiful form of the Lord is always youthful. Sincere servants of a particular form of the Lord always see that form as very beautiful, and thus they engage in constant devotional service to him. Like for Hanuman, the most beautiful form for him is of Lord Ramachandra. He wants to serve the Lord in that form. Always, always. So it's like a special relationship, how all these different devotees are praying to the Lord in his various forms. We heard Vastamanu is offering prayers to Matsya Avatar, and here Aryama is worshipping Kurma Avatar. So, did anyone want to add anything? Comments? Sorry, I didn't stop earlier. Just got carried away.
So, just one question. So, in all these varshas, different predominating deities there, right? As we read before. So, this is the fifth or the sixth one we are reading. Sorry, because I
Okay, I don't remember
no idea, right? Okay.
which one
Okay.
is this.
Because two we read already before, and the third was Prahlad Maharaj, Narsimha, and there was the other one also. Okay, so we have Vatsva, Manu, and this. We read two today, right?
Today we read two. Three. Lakshmi Devi was offering
Lakshmi Devi, yes.
worship to Kamdev.
Yeah, okay.
Lakshmi Devi, before Lakshmi Devi was Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad
Before
Maharaj, yeah. So
Prahlad
two.
Maharaj, I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, it was
You want to quickly go through it? You want me to look it up?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
So this is there's also Vivasva Manu. So I was just thinking that he's our Manu. We are in that his right now. We are in his. So that means that every Varsha has this cycle, right?
Which cycle?
The 14 in one day of Brahma, the 14 Manus come, and then right?
In one day of
Because
Brahma, 14 Manus come. That's right.
right, because Vivasva Manu is our Manu right now.
Yes. That's right.
We are in that Manvanta right now, right?
That's right.
So he's there also, and he's in the other Varsha, and he's also singing the glories of Krishna, right?
He's singing the glories of Krishna. That's right.
Yeah.
He's living
Okay.
in this, what was the name of this planet we read?
It was which
Go back.
Varsha?
Can't remember.
No, it's Kutch. Wait.
But yeah, this is the reign of Vivasta Manu. And then each of these
Ramyak Varsh.
sorted.
Ramyak Varsh. It's the Ramyak Varsh.
Okay, all right. So that's where he's living there then.
Yeah,
And he's
Ramyak
worshipping the
Varsh.
Lord.
Yeah. But
Any
this is so
other?
beautiful that nowhere you are, you're praising Krishna. Everybody's singing the glories of Krishna. So
Yeah.
that means that, they are so fortunate and they're so knowledgeable that they have that bhakti for Krishna. That's why they're able to do it. Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
not possible.
And we have to understand these are great personalities.
Mm.
Like really great personalities.
Yeah.
Because after all the demigods, they are devotees of Krishna. That's why they are given this position. That's the reason they are very qualified personalities, Great personalities. And we heard the prayers by Lakshmi Devi herself, how she is praying.
Wow.
So we will stop here for today.
And
Thank you so
I
much.
just wanted to say one thing for the yesterday I couldn't say because I was driving. That it was so beautiful that Krishna comes and cleans, like as you said, that so you wonder that who's the servant.
Yeah, I always
But
feel that, because Bhagavatam says that Krishna is cleaning our heart. Then I wonder
yes,
who's the servant then.
yeah. But it just assures you that he's so merciful, no matter what, no matter what. Just we
Yeah.
should just be with him, try to be with him, and remember him always.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's so true. Because Krishna becomes eager to serve the devotee who's serving him. He's serving Arjun. He's become his chariot driver. He's cleaning his horses, feeding the horses. He's helping Arjuna to come down and up the chariot, taking his orders. It's not that he's just riding the chariot, He's like cleaning the chariot, the horses. He's also like cleaning the horses, feeding them, so he's become the servant of his devotee. Bhagavad Gita, and that's the photo we see. Krishna being the charioteer, driving Arjuna's chariot, So God has become the servant of his devotee. So yeah, very beautiful point that you brought up. Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you